Welcome to my bold and beautiful Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribes button and give this video thumbs up. Brooke's Italian reunion shock when ex-husband Nick returns. Brooke Logan is stunned when ex-husband Nick Marone returns during Forrester Creations' Italian fashion shoot. Will this disrupt her potential reunion with Ridge? The bold and the beautiful heads to Italy this July. Nick Marone returns to Brooke's explosive Italian reunion as Ridge watches in horror. As B&B jets off to Italy for a fashion shoot that will alter everything. The countdown to the soap's hottest summer storyline has begun. Just when you thought the Brooke Logan/Ridge Forrester saga couldn't get any more complicated, the bold and the beautiful is about to throw a bombshell our way that will leave fans screaming at their screens. Brooke, Ridge and Eric are heading to the breathtaking landscapes of Capri and Naples for what's supposed to be a fashion shoot. But honey, we all know what really happens when this crew goes international. Nick Marone's return rocks Brooke's world. The biggest shock? Nick Marone is back, people. Yes, you read that right. After years away from our screens, the sailor-turned-businessman played by the incredibly handsome Jack Wagner is sailing back into Brooke's life when she least expects it. And trust me when I say she is going to be floored. Sources reveal that Brooke will be completely blindsided when she comes face-to-face with her ex-husband in Italy. Let's remember, these two have history, passionate, complicated, can't keep their hands off each other kind of history. And now they're reuniting under the romantic Italian skies? Come on. We've seen what happens when former flames run into each other in exotic locations on this show. One minute they're just talking about old times. And the next, well, let's just say clothing becomes optional. Ridge's jealousy reaches boiling point. Poor Ridge. The man can't catch a break. Just when he thought he might be finding his way back to Brooke, his romantic Italian getaway is about to be crashed by one of his biggest romantic rivals. And sources tell me that Ridge's jealousy will reach nuclear levels when he sees how Nick and Brooke interact. Will Ridge finally make his choice between Brooke and Taylor once and for all? Or will watching Brooke reconnect with Nick push him right back into Taylor's waiting arms? And speaking of Taylor, could she be lurking in the Italian shadows watching it all unfold? It wouldn't be the first time someone coincidentally showed up during a Forrester international trip. Eric's mysterious Italian agenda. Let's not forget about Eric, who's been suspiciously absent from storylines since his miraculous recovery. The Forrester patriarch clearly has his own agenda for this Italian adventure. And it's not just about fashion. Is he really pushing Ridge back toward Brooke out of genuine concern? Or could there be more behind his meddling? Even though Eric is married to Donna, he has never been able to completely let go of his feelings for Brooke. After all, Eric and Brooke both have a complicated romantic history of their own. One thing's for sure, Eric in Italy means drama. And I cannot wait to see what the legendary John McCook brings to these Mediterranean scenes. The Italian backdrop spells disaster. The bold and beautiful has a long history of explosive storylines unfolding in Italy. Remember Hope and Liam's disastrous Italian wedding? Or the Rome adventure that changed everything last year? Naples and Capri aren't just random choices, folks. These romantic, passionate locations are perfect for rekindling old flames and sparking new drama. The blue waters, stunning cliffsides, and moonlit evenings create the ultimate backdrop for betrayals, confessions, and steamy encounters. And let me tell you, the show doesn't fly halfway around the world, unless something major is about to go down. What happens in Italy won't stay in Italy. Whatever unfolds during this fashion shoot in July will have ripple effects for months to come. Will Brooke be tempted by her ex? Will Ridge make a grand romantic gesture? And what exactly is Eric plotting behind the scenes? One thing's certain, by the time this Italian adventure is over, relationships will be forever changed. Could we see Brooke and Nick reuniting? Might Ridge finally make his choice? Or will Eric's mysterious agenda throw everything into chaos? That this will not be just another international fashion shoot is the only absolute guarantee. Lives will change, hearts will break, and secrets will be revealed under those Italian skies. I don't know about you, but July can't come fast enough. Mark your calendars. Soap fans, this is one Mediterranean getaway you do not want to miss. Brooke's double shock. Liam gets worst and Luna's vengeful plot. The bold and the beautiful tease that Brooke Logan is in for a double shock, as Liam Spencer's condition deteriorates. Meanwhile, Luna Nozawa seeks vengeance against Steffy Forrester, setting the stage for intense drama. May 12th to 16th. Liam's lies, Carter's misunderstanding. From May 12th to 16th, Liam will hide his brain tumor from Bill Spencer. Yet they will share a heartfelt conversation that strengthens their father-son relationship. Hope Logan will keep Liam's dire situation under wraps when they meet later. As Hope expresses her desire for a future with Liam, Carter Walton will overhear her words from just outside the door. According to B&B spoilers, Carter will hit a new low in response, but Daphne Rose will encourage him to recognize this as a sign to finally move on from Hope. But of course, Daphne would do that since she wants Carter for herself. Liam's continued encouragement, Luna's surprise visit. Liam will believe that Hope is meant to be with Carter, giving Carter significantly longer life ahead. We'll witness Liam trying to persuade Hope her future lies with Carter. Steffy's return to the Cliff House will trigger a dramatic scene when she discovers Luna in the living room with John Finnegan. After demanding Luna to leave and never return, Steffy will update Finn on her discussion with Hope. Taylor Hayes will also be in the loop, joining Finn in supporting Steffy, affirming that her actions were in Hope's best interest. This is a complex situation, but it was crucial for Hope to understand Liam's dire condition, regardless of his reluctance to share it. Liam's peace request, Brooke's shock. Hope and Steffy will try to fulfill Liam's wish for the mothers of his daughters to unite. Bringing Hope back to Forrester Creations is a good start, allowing her to apologize for her role in the takeover and receive a warm welcome from Steffy. Brooke will likely be surprised to see Hope and Steffy getting along. Another shock for Brooke could be Hope's growing feelings for Liam. Even if Hope thinks about reuniting with Carter, it might not happen if she finds him involved with Daphne, which could make her more determined to stay with Liam. Meanwhile, Luna will struggle with vengeful feelings as she believes Steffy is hindering her chance to bond with Finn. How long can Luna resist her urge for revenge? May 26th to 30th. Luna's quest for Will. Liam's symptoms worsen. Luna might try to get closer to Will Spencer from May 26th to 30th, and if Will finds out that Liam has a brain tumor that can't be removed, Luna might help him. There will likely be some leaks, especially since Hope is aware of Liam's situation. Will might overhear something at work if Hope talks to Brooke. Regardless, Liam's condition will deteriorate, making it hard for him to hide his tumor. Even those who are unaware may start to question his health. Upcoming spoilers for the CBS soap indicate that the next 3 weeks will focus heavily on Liam, so keep watching. The Italian sun rises over the Amalfi Coast, casting a golden hue across the ancient cliffs of Capri as the Forrester Creations team descends upon the Mediterranean for what's billed as a glamorous fashion shoot, but the runway is merely the setting. The true spectacle is about to erupt behind the scenes. Brooke Logan, ever the radiant centerpiece of Forrester's romantic and professional drama, finds herself once again at the heart of a storm, only this time the winds are blowing from her past with the sudden, shocking return of ex-husband Nick Marone. As Ridge Forrester, her eternal on-again, off-again soulmate, watches with horror from the shadows of an ancient villa terrace, the stage is set for a battle not just of couture, but of hearts, history, and heartbreak. Nick's arrival is nothing short of a bombshell, unannounced, uninvited, and perfectly timed to upend Brooke's delicate path back toward Ridge. It sends shockwaves not only through her but through the entire Forrester entourage. Brooke, long the nexus of desire, loyalty, and longing, finds her emotions churned like the sea beneath Nick's fabled sailboat, as memories of their complicated, passionate history flood back in with a vengeance. Jack Wagner's return as the roguishly charming Nick adds a palpable electricity to the already volatile situation, and as he approaches Brooke with a devil-may-care grin and a quiet "Ciao, Logan," it's clear that this Italian reunion is anything but coincidental. Ridge, already torn between Brooke and Taylor in Los Angeles, now finds himself confronting an old enemy in an old land, and his jealousy never far beneath the surface erupts like Vesuvius, as he watches the woman he thought he was reclaiming fall under the intoxicating spell of another man's gaze. But Ridge isn't the only one with an agenda on this trip. Eric Forrester, whose recent re-emergence from medical obscurity raised eyebrows and hopes alike, has been orchestrating more than just a fashion spectacle. He's been quietly pulling strings in hopes of reuniting Ridge and Brooke, believing that their love represents the Forrester legacy at its purest. Yet even Eric is blindsided by Nick's appearance, and questions begin to swirl about whether this was truly a coincidence or whether someone tipped Nick off about the trip, planting him in Italy to stir the pot and tip the scales of fate. Meanwhile, back in Los Angeles, the emotional terrain is just as fraught, as Liam Spencer's hidden brain tumor continues to wreak havoc on his body and his life. Unwilling to let his loved ones see him deteriorate, Liam has kept the truth buried beneath a mask of forced calm and noble sacrifice, refusing to burden his father, Bill Spencer, or the women who once loved him. Yet secrets like tumors grow in darkness, and soon Liam's deterioration becomes impossible to hide. Hope, grappling with the truth, confides in Steffy, not out of loyalty to her, but out of desperation for Liam's daughters to have stability when he's gone, and the women, so long at odds, reach an uneasy truce in the wake of shared sorrow. It's a development that stuns Brooke, who returns from Italy reeling from her own emotional upheaval, only to find her daughter forging peace with Steffy Forrester, the very woman who once tore her family apart. The double shock. Nick's return and Hope's new alliance shakes Brooke to her core, forcing her to confront not only the ghosts of her past loves, but the legacy she's left behind in her children. As Liam's condition worsens, his inner turmoil deepens. He urges Hope to find happiness with Carter Walton, believing that the man who once stood in the shadow of his own romantic entanglements can now offer her the stability and long life that Liam himself can no longer guarantee. But Carter, overhearing a private conversation, begins to unravel emotionally, unaware that Liam is acting not out of apathy but out of selfless love. Daphne Rose, sensing an opportunity, whispers comfort into Carter's ears, pushing him toward a future that may or may not include Hope, perhaps because she wants it to include herself. This triangle simmers quietly while louder storms rage elsewhere. Luna Nozawa, once the innocent intern who simply wanted to learn the ropes at Forrester, now burns with vengeful fire after being coldly dismissed by Steffy, who sees Luna's attachment to Finn as a threat to her marriage. Luna, heartbroken and cornered, begins to plot, not with malice, but with the fierce desperation of a woman who has tasted love and seen it ripped away. Her plan to use Will Spencer as a pawn begins to take shape, and though her intentions may seem benign at first, a shoulder to cry on, a friend in crisis, it becomes increasingly clear that Luna's emotional descent is being accelerated by feelings of abandonment and rejection, fueled in part by the rumors surrounding Liam's health, which have begun to leak despite everyone's best efforts. Back in Italy, the drama reaches a fever pitch. Brooke is torn between the passion Nick rekindles and the security Ridge provides. Late-night walks along moonlit cobblestone streets and wine-fueled conversations about what could have been start to dissolve the carefully constructed barriers around her heart. Ridge sees it all and can't contain himself. An explosive confrontation erupts between him and Nick at a secluded seaside villa, where years of rivalry and resentment come crashing down in a storm of fists, insults, and painful truths. Brooke, caught in the middle, doesn't know whether to intervene or let them fight it out once and for all. Watching these two men battle for her like it's 2006 again forces her to ask herself, who is she now, and what does she really want? It's a question that becomes all the more complicated when Eric reveals his own hand, confessing to Donna that he had hoped the trip would rekindle Ridge and Brooke's bond, but now wonders if fate has other plans. Eric's cryptic behavior adds another layer of intrigue. Does he know something about Nick's arrival that he isn't saying? And could it be that Eric's true concern isn't Brooke's heart, but the future of the company and the Forrester name? Meanwhile, the action in Los Angeles crescendos as Liam begins to lose his grip, physically and emotionally. Steffy finally confronts the truth she's always suspected, when he collapses during a father-daughter outing with Kelly. Finn, ever the dedicated doctor, runs tests and confirms what no one wanted to admit. Liam's tumor is inoperable and time is running out. Hope, devastated, rushes to his side, just as Daphne corners Carter and plants a kiss meant to seal their budding romance. Only for Hope to witness it, sparking a wave of doubt and betrayal that could push her right back into Liam's arms in his final days. Luna, realizing she has a chance, moves closer to Will, acting like a worried friend as she plans her next move to get Finn back. But it's not just a love story anymore. It's a story of grief, legacy, and survival. In Italy, Brooke makes a fateful decision. She tells Ridge that she needs time, that seeing Nick has awakened a part of her she thought was gone, and that she won't be rushed into choosing. Angry and heartbroken, Ridge flees only to meet Taylor, who has indeed arrived under the guise of a spontaneous trip, but has been watching from a distance, waiting for Ridge to be alone once more. The triangle reforms, but this time with the added twist of Nick's return. Eric warns them all that the past cannot be rewritten, only understood. But his words fall on deaf ears as the younger generation continues to spiral into their own crisis. Liam's worsening condition becomes the gravitational center of everything. Hope's romantic future, Steffy's emotional healing, Bill's attempts to be a better father, and even Luna's quest for purpose all bend toward the singular tragedy of a good man facing an unjust fate. By the time the Forrester jet returns home, everything has changed. Brooke, once the queen of love triangles, now finds herself courted not by men, but by destiny itself. Will she rekindle the fire with Nick? Or choose the familiar comfort of Ridge? Will Ridge, burned one too many times, finally accept that maybe Brooke isn't his destiny after all? Will Taylor's quiet composure prevail? And what of Eric's secret motivations? Could they involve more than matchmaking? Could Eric be setting the stage for his own farewell, orchestrating one last dramatic act before bowing out? And back in Los Angeles, Liam's health becomes public knowledge, uniting friends and enemies alike in a collective grief that's both beautiful and excruciating. Luna, standing alone at the edge of the Forrester pool during a somber garden party, watches Finn with haunted eyes, her heart whispering a plan she may soon regret. Hope, still in love with Liam but pulled toward Carter, finds herself at a crossroads. Carter, caught between two women and his own wounded pride, makes a decision that could redefine his future. Standing in the ruins of old love stories and the beginning of new ones, Brooke realizes that her greatest love might not be any man at all. Rather, it might be her own strength to stand by herself under the Italian stars and finally say, "I choose me."